Well, hello everybody. Glad to see you here. Thank you for dropping in, turning on, and tuning in. There we go. It's Tuesday, so you know that if you're here, you have definitely fulfilled your destiny, at least for this moment. That seems to be the
Mhm.
new word everyone is saying in this moment. I know it doesn't look like Jenny's here, but she is. But I don't know why that does that. I can see her on our panel, but they can't
Yeah.
see her. Well, but she's here, not just in spirit. She's really here. So, welcome everybody. Let me just speak favor on behalf of all of us here. Um, Favor be upon us all. Listen, you got favor, you got grace, and if you got grace, well, what else is there? I mean, that's what it's all about. So, and as we like to say, abracadabra, we speak what we create. Nothing missing, nothing broken. And that is probably the best definition of perfect peace. And that's how I learned it nearly 40 years ago.
Mhm.
It actually comes from the word shalom, and it's a derivative of just that, nothing missing, nothing broken. And you can understand that if you're in a place where there's nothing missing in your life, then you're fully satisfied. And if there's nothing broken, then you have that place of nirvana, that paradise that each one of us are capable of creating, even when we're in the midst of chaos. I mean, kind of cool. So, anyway, we thank you for tuning in and being a part. Hello, everyone in the chat room. So many. Um,
Ooh,
Trina, you and I were talking earlier where I had actually saw someone who was new to the channel, Truth
yeah.
Wave Energy Meditation. So,
Hi,
welcome.
welcome.
Yeah, you really stumbled into a great group of people. I don't know who recommended the channel to you, but we speak favor over them, and we thank them for that. But
Mhm.
we trust that you will find it a place that you'd like to come back and add to the coalescence of Gnostic seekers, which most people, if you're not, we will either soon be, or you're going to go and say, "Well, that's too much for me." But anyway. So, this is a second look. I am joined each Tuesday with my beautiful co host, Miss Trina Phoenix, who, good Lord, girl, I went back, I think we're 6 years into this, and who'd have ever thought?
Or a little longer. Yeah, it's been a
I
while.
mean, that was never, I think, the goal, but the intent was always there. And Jenny, I went back and looked for where you're concerned, and you're on year two now, so it's
Hi,
yeah. So
really? Time flies.
don't it though? Pew! Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
so
Like baby.
ladies, you know what my week has been like, but so how has y'all's been? You see, I still have that Southern Texas thing, y'all.
hmm
I love
It
that.
works in the South.
Yeah, it's better than you guys. Although you guys
I
is
like
kind,
I
you
like
know.
y'all better too. And I'm from the West and they do you guys or hey you or
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
like y'all better too. Y'all. I
yeah.
love that word. I think it's a great word.
Man, I had I
hmm
had I had a teacher that did not like the "hey you," and he
hmm
he came and he corrected someone one day, and he says, "I am not a barnyard animal, and I don't eat hay." And it's like,
Yeah, I'm
okay.
not a you.
Have you heard of meditation or Valium?
Mhm.
So how you been, Trina? We'll get to you, Jenny, here in a second, but how's your week been?
It's been
You're
great. It's
looking
been
bright and
productive.
beautiful, by the way.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great day. I got my hair done last week. Oh, so yay, that's a once every 3 month venture. So yeah,
It's
so just getting
beautiful.
stuff done. And the weather's been weird, raining and then sunshine and then windy and but we haven't had the weather like you, my Lord. Whoo, that was a wing dinger you guys went through last
Can
few
I just
days
say
ago.
something?
So yeah, it's been good.
We're into day 9 now of constant wind. I mean, this is
Wow.
weird.
hmm We've
Today,
got it here too.
do you
I
have
don't know
there?
what's up.
Yeah, high
Yeah, and
wind
it's not
warning,
typical
55
here.
miles an hour. No, not here either.
Yeah,
It's weird.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. Well, you look beautiful, my dear,
You
always.
know
And
what I was seeing?
what?
It's so weird. We're talking about weather. I was looking at the word weather this morning, and it's split, and it went W, which is the representation of woman, Mother Nature,
Mhm.
the feminine aspect of creation, and then it showed me ether. They're like, duh, it's right in front of you.
Oh,
We
yeah.
are
Good,
the
good
ether.
observation.
We
Yeah.
are the ether. Woman is the ether, the feminine principle of creator, because God is dual. The feminine part of that is the weather. And
It's
then they
interesting
were
that you
showing me,
say that.
yeah,
Been
weird,
reading the
huh?
book, that I went and got this book. I had to, The Dark Mother of the original goddess. And that
Ooh,
is part of her is
yes,
the weather. Um,
yes.
as the cycle goes, so do the events of weather. But no matter what weather is, it always brings something behind it. So anyway, it's very interesting you say that because we didn't even talk about that.
No, and then they were showing me that it's all magnetic, like weather is a magnetic
Mm,
force. And yeah, so it was very powerful what I was being
mm.
shown. And it was so funny when you just said weather, I just saw it again. And then it also broke apart and it said we heart because weather is there's two E's. So we W ether and then we heart and then we earth.
Hmm.
It's the magnetic force of this earth is the weather, and we can control that through our heart. It was beautiful what I was being shown. It was beautiful.
And I
So
contend
we need to
that
work with the
as
weather.
the polls are continuing because right now it's going to make headlines. Mark my words, and probably in the
Yeah.
next couple of years because they won't be able to hide it. But the Earth right now is in a magnetic pole shift. And definitely we can use the word technically because that's what they're technically calling it, an excursion.
Yep.
I believe that weather is electromagnetic in nature, not by elements of man or something else. And until our science catches up with that, we can expect, I think, increasingly intense, bizarre weather. That's just
I
me.
Yeah.
think so too. I
Well,
think
and
that's
Jenny,
spot on.
we're not excluding you from the conversation, hon.
Oh,
How are you doing?
Hi,
Uh,
Jen. I'm good.
how are you
The weather.
feeling? You're looking so beautiful today.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Well,
you. So the
I'm joined by two goddesses every Tuesday. I mean,
I
that's right, guys.
can see you,
I
Jenny.
know many of you are like, that Steiger. How does he do that? I
got
got
mag.
favor, and the mother goddess really digs me. She told me the other day, she says, you're a really cool dude. Seen my eye on you for a long time. I said, there you go.
Yeah, cool
That's
cat. Well,
right.
she's got wisdom. Yeah, I'm good.
Mm.
The weather's settled down here, to be fair. It's really I'm blocking some of the kids' noises out. It's really sunny
It
outside now.
is.
But really chilly, really cold. Um, but nice, really nice, settled down. The wind has stopped. We had wind like you constantly for about 10 days, like really bad wind.
Yeah.
And it wasn't predicted. But no, actually, the weather hasn't been so settled because 2 days ago, for about 2 days in a row, we had sun like this within seconds, hailstones, and then within seconds, the sun just never went away during the hailstones. Wind, rain, sun. We had 2 days of just sporadic, no snow, no nothing, just hailstones. So it's definitely being also interfered with, I think, here. Harp,
I
they
think there's
like
a
to
lot
say that
going
type.
on being interfered with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But the weather, I've always said it, and a lot of people poo-pooed it, but there's a reason the ancestors recognized dancing like worms come to the surface when you stomp on the ground. There is that intention. So just like in spirit, where everything we presume is chaotic because of what we are manifesting here in the physical, I do feel that we've lost the ability to know that we are part of the weather, just like Trina says, we are part of her. We definitely do have an impact. The way that we're being, because we're electromagnetic beings, right? And
They
there's a lot
say
of
that.
us here now. There's lots of us here now. So there's a lot of individual electromagnetic forces that are very confused at the minute, very divided at the minute. They're particles basically in chaos. They're walking chaos. And so
I
that's
get this
attracting
CERN,
that.
the Large Hadron Collider. I'm thinking that this
Hmm.
is a side effect of us, exploding these particles, and we're trying to see what happens. And that's like, a kid with a stick of dynamite. The
Yeah,
first thing you have to have is the match. And if
yeah.
you can get the match to light, then you light the fuse, and everything
Hmm.
seems cool until it's not.
Yep.
Exactly. Exactly. So it,
It's got to be something. I mean, it's like yesterday with the discussion that the findings, and by the way, it's not in Britain 15 books, it was 1.5. But Lynn and I were talking last night after dinner that this decrease that we are now witnessing in 13 years, how it's dumbing people down, how attention spans. And when you think about the 18-year-olds in the next 10 years entering into the workforce, we better hope we have machines because man may not be smart enough to run the machines. Anyway,
yeah, they
that's
put them
just,
in the holding
It's
pens.
sad but true.
it is sad. It's very sad. I mean, I like being human. I think that when I leave this realm, it's going. And I still don't buy into reincarnation. I'm just one who don't. I've studied it and studied it. I know that there are incidences where it seems like there have been a transference or emergence of consciousness, but I do
Hmm.
not think it's necessarily another spirit going into another rotation. The universe is too vast. And to me, this is just one phase of the experience. And as we continue to and I believe it's in nature itself, is the motion as that continues to flow. Maybe all of us will be meeting on a next reality where um, who knows what it may be. That's the great thing about it, the great unknown.
Hmm.
Yeah. I wrote in the comments to somebody the other day, your comments.
By the way, they
Oh,
were really good. Thank you, sweetie.
oh, you're welcome.
No
Um,
problem.
uh,
The check's in the mail.
but I've forgotten what it was referring to exactly, but it was a past life. You'd asked about the hijack, and I've always said
Hmm.
it's been a hijack and not that long ago. So somebody had started up a good conversation about it, and I responded to say that it's not more that I have full on interpretations of lives that I've lived, but I very definitely can hook into something Trina was mentioning, the Holy Grail that I call the Holy Grail, the plasma in the blood. I definitely have recollections of ancestors that have gone before me,
Hmm.
both in the past and in the more infinite past. And even in the ineffable past, that DNA, that spirit of knowing of times that I've got that scarring or I've got that imprint somewhere on my DNA that I can often flick through and have a resonance with and know that we've been here before. I've done this before. I've come up against this before. I've worked with this before. So the plants do that a lot as well. The plants remind you and trigger off parts of your Akashic records, Chloe would use and say quite accurately. There's different ways of reading those records, and one of them is the ancestral DNA line. So that was what that
So
comment was.
speaking of the ancestral DNA, I think it's My Heritage. Um, they sent me a thing that now they can take the genetic material that they have been given And now they're going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and go with it because I think it's very interesting. They can go back 10,000 years
Okay.
based on your DNA, which brings this thought of, well, if the DNA is a collection of conscious experiences, well, that in turn could almost be like a life before, because I'm firmly convinced I'm going to have a life after this. So am I going to be another um, genome on the DNA strand? My experience being contained now into the DNA code, and that will be
Absolutely.
extrapolated. That exact. I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
Jacob's ladder, isn't it? Like the
It is,
DNA.
Yes.
isn't it? Yeah.
Well, it's the experience of climbing up those various and infinite Jacob's ladders, and sometimes being hitting a snake and sliding down. It's that game of snakes and ladders. But all of that experience, all of those rungs in that ladder, even the time your life was saved, like mine, coming off a ladder, Wayne, is
Yeah.
literally that ladder of experience that you can then call upon. But it's invisible to you if you've got no self-connection. It's invisible to you, it's ineffable to you if you don't do that inner work to be able to reflect enough to even hone in on that messaging that's in
Hmm.
there. So that's where the link up of that is, to be self-aware is the key to unlocking that code that you've got going on
It's
inside of you.
interesting. We're going to go to the force because there's a lot going on in the world, but I'd like to. So lately, I've been finding in my meditation time that I'm back in the hospital some 30 years ago when I fell into the coma because of the meningitis um,
Mm,
and Lyme disease. And so for a week, 9 days totally, you know, I wasn't here. But I have found myself, and it's really weird because I had this weird experience. It was definitely lucid dreaming that I was shielded because my body required so much energy to heal it. And that I often tell people that the only real memories I have is this dark. And now I'm beginning to understand a little bit more of that experience. So we'll get into that another time, but it's very interesting.
Hmm. Yes. I think I mean it seems like the reason the DNA is so valuable. It seems like that's the highest commodity outside of Earth. So with that being so valuable, there must be a very important reason for that.
And it
So
is the single identifier of why each of us believe that we're in fact individuals.
yes, it's the introduction of the code into the structured light of this realm. So it
So why
literally
am I
it
getting
can,
this feeling like I'm talking to Neo, in the Matrix, and I'm
because you
seeing this
are,
freaking thing and it's going, I
because
was
you
like,
are.
oh, well, there's Jenny. Jenny, how you doing?
I keep seeing, I think this is like all just visions, imagination, no proof. But what I keep seeing is 250,000 years ago, the beings that we know as Enlil and Enki and Marduk and
Mm-hmm.
Lucifer, and the females would be Media and Artemis and Isis. I mean, they were in
Aphrodite.
operation, right? They were in operation too. And what they keep showing me is that 250,000 years ago, a new layer of a frequency fence came in, and I'm pretty sure it's the Metatronic codes, the sacred
Well,
geometry, because it all overlays over the spiral, and
yeah,
the
yeah.
spiral contains all the geometry within it. So the overlay are the lines, and the truth is within the spiral. And where the spirals comes from the magnetic waves. So when you're looking at
I think
magnetic,
getting this
yeah,
DNA thing back to 10,000 years is going to be really cool because I personally don't care who has my DNA. It's already out there.
got it
And
anyway.
yeah, I mean,
the thing
so
I like, Wayne, is I like to trust myself more than man, because they can label you and tell you what you are, and that might be a lie.
Yeah,
And they
no,
might
I'm
know
just saying
exactly what
it's
you
going to
are.
be interesting to see what the science says. And,
That's man.
I've already
Yes.
had it done, so I know where I come from.
Hmm.
I am primarily a Western European. I have 11% Italian, 1% Jewish, and the rest of it is broken up into, um, interestingly enough, Scottish, and then German, Dutch. But anyway,
You
so I
know
want
that
to
when
see
you
how
go
far I go
over
back.
to,
Maybe I can go back as far as Sumer and I can come back and say it triggered a memory. And thus
why don't you
this
go
is
back
what,
further and try
well,
to
I think
tap
10,
into Lemuria, try to tap into Mu, try to tap into Atlantis, try to go beyond
well,
that. Because once you get there, you can go back further.
yeah,
Just
but
like
I don't
Deborah
know if we really know how
can,
long Atlantis really, Atlantis may be a very recent occurrence. So going
it
back to
could be.
Sumer may be even older than Atlantis. I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting.
I think it's really interesting to try to find out for yourself and then see if it's confirmed through science. To me, that would be the most amazing experience to have, is see what you could find and then see what they say and see if it actually aligns.
Well, um, at nearly 70 years of age, I think I've pretty well covered what I know where I perceive I come from, but it's always interesting just to see what the mile markets say.
Ah, yeah,
Well,
I've seen my DNA unlock and show me all kinds of stuff that was just like, I couldn't have made that up. So that must be coming from a higher place.
It's like
And
Lynn tells me, she
that
says,
that
I can see
information
the
changes
Italian
it,
in you.
right?
it's the hand
So,
gestures.
yeah. Yeah. You have that
I've-
red rose in your mouth and like, hey, baby. I love it.
But
So,
what you said about when you had meningitis and your body going into rest, obviously I've got a lot of experience with that. I'm not the greatest at it. It's one of the challenges in this space that I've had, in this lifetime that I've had, of being able to rest when necessary. But there's a definite mode that I've learned to put myself in, and it's like parking up. You're parking up, you're reversing into a space, and you do it, and that's where a lot of my meditations with group sessions go to, and with individuals of ultimately get in the body, because the body's always so active, always so sensory, always on. Basically, it's a machine that doesn't stop running till it truly stops running. Then it feeds the ground if you wish so. It's magical. So there are those times where, especially in the lifestyles we have now, where we don't have the sleep from 9 o'clock at night because we've been working outside from 4 o'clock in the morning. So we have got to really push to implement them into our lives where we can. And often when you have an accident or you fall ill, your body, the best mode of recovery is to allow your body to park up. And like in meditation, be in a safe space where it's monitored and taken care of and honored, while actually spirit and consciousness does a lot of the heavy lifting of the
yeah, I mean, I
healing.
wasn't afraid when I came out of the coma. There was no
Yeah,
fear, so it obviously tells me, from my
you've
experience,
been in
that it wasn't a
stillness.
bad place. Yeah,
No, no, it's just like a homeostasis.
yeah.
It's like you've it's like cryogenics, but in meditation. Your body's in deep sleep, in deep rest. That's the only way sometimes that it can really hold the heavy lifting in order to recover and rejuvenate. So you put in the body to sleep, you de-escalating inflammation and keeping the temperature at a moderate blood temperature, and that's what all the body needs really for that sleep mode to be taken hold of, and that's when the really deep healing happens. And but
I think
that
my
happens when
consciousness was separated. I mean, by that, I mean literally separated from outside spirits. There is a connection and a covenant between the spirit and body.
there's a bridge.
And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And as I see it, because I to me, it's a very interesting time because the other time when I died was when I was stung by, those 27 Africanized bees on this temple right here. That was a different experience,
I
but
bet.
the coma thing was, again, it was, and it's always intrigued me. Like, well, what happened? I mean, my consciousness was obviously conscious, right? I mean, one would assume. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did I partition myself off to be able to focus the energy on healing my body? I mean, I don't know.
I think for me, what I see when I look at that is, that there's different options in your life where you can leave. And
Hmm.
I think that might have been one of your decision points. So I think it might have brought you into the stillness of your own being to determine whether or not you were going to continue or you were going to recreate something new inside that womb space, because that's a womb space. You're in a
Yeah.
womb.
It's interesting you're saying that, Trina, because my mind is immediately drawn back to David, the David of the Bible. And
Yeah.
and Marilyn Hickey actually brought this out that he had this unique ability to meditate and, in her words, actually transcend into the higher realms. And when you said that, I can see how an individual can cocoon themselves
Yeah.
out of the body
Hmm.
and allowing the body to reheal, resurrect, regenerate, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
That's
And
what I
then,
was going to say.
I took it to a whole new level. I started doing that, Wayne, in those dark spaces. And then I created a healing temple.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I would suggest everybody create your own healing temple and don't tell anybody where it's at. Keep it to yourself. Like you said, your own separate little isolation place to put yourself back together, your safe place. The only person I've taken is Brian Milky Way. He went.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's a special place that you can create to do your own work. And then you can add color and light and stuff to it that, helps you do creation because we create here with light. So it's a beautiful thing and a
I
tool if you're
created a
really trying
beach.
to put yourself back together. That's amazing. Like I said, it works.
Yeah. When I pass over here,
Yeah.
I expect to be at the beach, you know. But, the
Hmm.
difference too is like when that experience where I went into anaphylactic shock, um, that was where I distinctly remember being over my body and,
Hmm.
watching everything being, it actually left my body as they were putting me in the ambulance, but I went along for the ride. But yeah, that
Yeah.
was a different place.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like a
it
shock.
is. And you can see different and
It
feel
is.
different. It's different, huh? Yeah.
Wasn't afraid. Um,
No.
it,
Yeah.
it was just, yeah, it's like seeing, I guess, someone being in a 2D world where everything is like this, when then to a 3D where everything is like this.
Seeing yourself in
Yeah.
first,
What was that, Jen?
seeing yourself in first person. That's when you
Yeah.
realize it's all a bit of a game because when you realize you can have that separation of
Ooh, good, good, good.
part
Absent,
of yourself.
beautiful observation. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
How
that's
many
what I
in the
was going
chat
to
room have
say.
actually had out-of-body experiences where you were either an accident or something that where you were actually hovering over your body? I'd be curious to see.
Well, you
Okay.
realize
I'd be
in
one.
those spaces
So
that
Trina, what
they,
tell us of yours?
The first time it happened to me, I got knocked into a cycle of unconsciousness due to a neck injury. I was in
Ouch.
gymnastics and I did a back handspring and I pulled my hands in the last minute and I landed directly on my head. And I was in two places at once. I didn't fully detach. My body would shut down and I would fully detach from it when I went unconscious. And then as soon as I got consciousness, I would slam back in the body. And then the pain and the burning would get so extreme, it would knock me unconscious again. And then I would bounce out of the body and I was watching everything from above. So that was the first time it happened to me. And then when I was dying, when I was 22, I went to some pretty interesting places because I was kind of getting ready to go. So that was a whole different kind of leaving the body. And that was extreme, but
Yeah.
amazing at the
It
same time.
it
And I
is.
think I went through that. You can stay or you can go, you know, and I was in that place. And for whatever reason, I decided to stay.
I still remember the date. It was July 13th, down in Houston, Texas, saw Creedence Clearwater Revival and Bo Diddley. Anyway, I had
Mhm.
taken a hit of window pane and uh, truly had a out-of-body experience. I actually had to call the ambulance to get me to restart my heart because my point is I met those beings and the one spoke to me and said, it's really weird because I could see infinity, right? And then I looked back down and I could see me. And that was what the choice is. You can either go or you can come back.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really do think it's up to
Yeah.
us. I really do. But I
Yeah.
think too, there's people I know that were forced back in. They were like, ain't going. I ain't going back. And they're like, oh, yeah, you are. Oh, yeah,
Just
you
put them
are.
in.
And boom,
It's
they're in their
like
body. They're like,
you
that is
just think
bullshit.
you're gonna go. It's like, geez. So Jenny, have
I
you
thought
ever
I
had
had a
an
choice here.
it's like,
It slammed
uh-uh.
me back in that broken body. Oh, my God.
And I have the book on it's like this, about NDEs and
Me
yeah,
too. I bought the one you showed it to me. I was like, that
yeah,
looks, it was
yeah, and
good.
that
Very good
it
book.
is good. I
Yeah,
mean,
I like it.
what got me was the plethora and the complete diversity of perceptions of reality out
Yes.
once you leave your body.
That's when I
Like,
started to realize we're all going to do it different ways.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. And
Hmm.
there's going to be no one way, no right way. Man, we are all unique. So it's never going to be the same. Wayne, I've done healing where I thought, oh, I got this situation. I'm going to go here and do this. It's like, nope, wouldn't work that way. I had to find their way and unlock their way because it didn't look like what I saw with the other person. I was like, wow, we are not doing this the same. Not one time, one way is it exactly the same. And that was a huge key for my awakening to the potentials and possibilities that we hold as human
Yeah.
beings.
I'm reminded
Yes.
every day when I touch Lynn's soul that two
Mhm.
can become one in spirit. But the thing is that no matter how much you blend, there is still that part of each of us individually that no one can enter in. And maybe that's the temple, maybe that is this place. But yeah, when you were saying it, it just and it is that way because um,
Mhm.
it's tangible. It really is. It's not sometimes seen, but it is as real as the air we breathe. At least that's what they tell us we're
Mhm.
doing. So,
uh-huh.
Jenny, I want to hear, have you had a near-death experience yourself?
Yeah, yeah. I've died on the table 3 times. Uh, I've through different operations. The last time was when I had Theodore. Um, they put the epidural in and it went up to the brain rather than down the legs.
Oh,
But
that
the
that'll that'll
cesarean,
that'll
yeah, it
cancel your
hurts.
ticket.
Yeah, that stung. It stung a bit. And I could feel
I would imagine.
so where I broke my back, and where the discs of gone or disintegrated, she totally misstepped where to put it in. I was having a cesarean. I had to anyway for him, uh, for various reasons. So I could feel it shooting up, and she kept asking, "Are your legs getting numb?" And I'm moving the legs, and then I realized something was really wrong. So the heart started to slow down, and she'd punctured my spinal column at the same time. So it gave me a headache for the first 6 to 8 months of Theo's life. And they lost me. They lost me there and then. They had about 8 pints of blood. But I remember seeing myself being totally focused on Theodore being delivered, and totally embroiled in his delivery. All of my family was sent out of the room. Obviously, nobody was allowed to stay after that point, so I had to be knocked out. Um, And that was the only one I didn't feel as in much control of because of the gas that they quickly did and the intubation that they had to quickly do then after. Um, because that was very like your bee stings was a shock one. It
Mm.
was everything was slowing down, not to my intention, but to something numbing the heart area, numbing the spinal column. So that was a bit of an intense one. The other ones have been um once when I thought I could fly, that was a number of occasions, and I remember lifting up at my spirit. My body went down, my spirit stayed up. So I really thought I was still
Hate when
fully
that
flying
happens.
until I looked down and realized, oh no, that's nasty. That looks really nasty. And at that point, my body started crying, for mom to come out. So that was an interesting one. See, but to be honest, they blur into comparison because I often give myself out of body experiences. I can give you one now in the forest if you want, with through breath work. And that's a really great way of practicing this because one, when it happens to you in shock, you can have much more self-determination of how you go forward, whether you choose to stay or go. But other than that, it's a really good modality to get used to of driving the other fractals parts of you while other parts of you are at rest. So the breath work is a bridge to being able to do that at will, which
Yeah,
which
I'm
is a real.
already in the forest and I'm seeing something new in the forest.
Are you?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you
I like it.
seeing?
Could tell us.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just let everybody know I'm there right now and I'm standing and you two are right there. The energy and what I'm seeing, I am in the midst of giant sequoias, these huge redwood trees, and their branches are extending like 100 feet out. And yeah, and
It's
you can smell the tannins in the air.
like a
I mean,
hole, almost like an animal lives in it, quite a
it's
big entry
see,
point.
see, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where
Yeah.
that's yeah. So,
So the
Jenny, why
stairs
don't you
are
just take the rest of us and let everybody come
yeah,
in,
totally.
and
So
because that's what it's about.
yeah, yeah, it is. So if you want to, yeah, I know what we need to do there. Okay, okay. Take a deep breath in, and with a breath out in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathe in love. Breathe in peace. Peace that surpasses all understanding. Exhale anything that feels heavy, that feels toxic. As the ethers take those away with you, carried on the wind, allow yourself with each breath to be closer to the entrance of our beautiful place. In this space, we share our love, we share our joy, and we share our passions to create and explore together. With each breath, as you breathe out and your code is heard by this forest, allow the canopy walls to open like the great doors that they are. Allow yourself to feel welcomed, to feel an embrace, to feel the moisture in the air carrying energy straight to your skin, deriving messages for you since the last time you were here. As you walk through the forest, feeling the moss on your soles of your feet, allow the energy that is in this space to reverberate up and through you, carrying you to your destination in this forest. I'd like you to take a deep breath and meet me in the center point at the crystal, surrounded by the trees Wayne described. Allow yourself to gather around the crystal. Take a look at the light refracting in that crystal, the dappled sunlight hitting it through the leaves. Feel the warmth of it, the embrace of it. Putting your hands out with your third eye Allow the energy to be drawn up from the soil through your body to the crystal. Magnetized and quadrupled in energy feedback, allow the crystal to bounce that right back to you, reverberating off each and every one of us. I'd like you now, with a breath in, take a step inward. In this safe space, picture a stairway spiraling down like the stairway beneath Wayne's tree. Walk in tandem with one another down this spirally staircase. Allow yourself to hear the echoes of the week gone by, all of the distractions dispersing into the ethers beyond the forest wall. As you walk down this spiraled staircase, allow yourself to know that you are taking a walk within you, the greatest exploration of all. In conjunction with your brothers and sisters, allow the love to reverberate, the safety and the warmth while you explore you. As you feel every other distraction and weight dissipate and disappear, find yourself at the bottom of this beautiful staircase represented by you. Allow yourself to see the box that I've left there for each and every one of you. Deep breath in and out. One more in and out. Open this box. Allow yourself to feel, smell, touch, see whatever it is inside for you. Allow this message to sit with you, to be carried with you, to gain wisdom and knowledge and more exploration, the more that you can be. Take this symbol, put it back in this precious box made from the same wood that is in this forest, protected by each and everyone's love for one another. Carrying your box back up the spiral staircase with a message that is meant just for your wholeness, just for your well-being. Find yourself at the top of the staircase, gathered together once more. In this space we speak peace and love over one another and give thanks just for knowing each other and being safe here with one another. Wholeness, and that's it.
Far out.
Hmm. So interesting, Jenny.
It's
Yeah.
always
You
a
speak
wonderful
of a
time.
symbol. Go and get your symbol. I was writing symbols this morning.
Oh, Trina, that's
And you know what
beautiful.
that symbol is? It was
Again,
called symbol 16, the eternal self.
can I see that again?
And the way I was going down the spirals, I was entering into the most magnificent library I've ever seen in my life. And I knew that all the books were mine.
Oh, wow. I love that, the unfolding flower and star. You know, it's like star
And
anise.
the
It looks
inside of it is the
star.
triangle, which is the eye. It's the inner eye. All of it starts from the inner eye and it goes out in the four directions. And it's all about the heart. The heart is the true divine wisdom. And that's why you can't use your normal conscious mind to be in divine rhythm. You have to get the pineal gland and awaken the third eye, the inner eye. That's where you get the divinity. So, yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I've been drawing it since I was a little kid. And then I was looking at symbols and that came up and they always say, pay attention to 16. So I went straight to number 16 and that was what showed up. And I was like, I've been drawing that since I was a little kid. That's my symbol, and that's a 16. And I was like, what does that mean? And they were like, this is the symbol of the eternal self. And I was like, that's beautiful. So
Mhm.
that's what I brought, the eternal self.
Well, mine was completely different. I had, for myself, I was walking through this dense forest, but I could smell the salt air. I knew that there was an ocean nearby.
Mm.
And so I'm walking. Now, I didn't go down the staircase. I was on this path, and it was somewhat sandy, but there were like pine needles on it. And anyway, I came to an edge. It was about 100 feet, and I walked, and there was this cliff, and I could see the ocean. And I could feel the moisture on my cheeks. It was cool, almost cold. And so I turned around and walked back, and I could sense that there are others, but for myself, the next thing I knew, I was at this river. And there's,
Bodies of water. So bodies of water are
yeah,
draw.
yeah.
So there's the salt in the sea, and then there's some sort of mineral in the river for you to derive and
So
look at you.
that's
All
what
right.
I was experiencing. It was very cool.
Cosmic flow of currency.
Yeah. I could actually see the
Beautiful.
ocean. It was really interesting. Yeah. There was
Yeah.
this huge rock that was out there, and it was anyway.
I'm trying to
Wow,
see
a
what.
huge rock. That's powerful too.
Yeah, it
A
was.
huge rock in
Yeah,
the middle of the sea.
yeah.
Mount
It's like
Meru, the
right.
magnetic one.
So
I
that's where I
like.
was at. So, and that's what I love about being able to take, even group meditations because the energy is being focused in on you, Jenny, on the harmonics of your voice, the frequency, and then how we in tune our frequencies to that which you're producing out. And then that begins to take us all into our own magical place. It's all
Absolutely.
joined. It's just,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
yeah. I love the,
It's in resonance. So it's in
yeah,
the same
yeah.
vibrational layer of our matrix, our constructive matrix we're working in right now. So yeah, when it's in resonance, it's all the same, but it's uniquely different from our
And
perceptions.
I just want to
It's
say
so
this, if
beautiful.
you're looking for healing, you see, I know these things that when groups come in, there's power and there's energy to meet whatever need you particularly have.
Mm, three.
And
Yeah.
and healing is a part of that. I mean, it's a tangible energy if you can plug into it and add it to your own. And it's amazing. If you have a happy soul, you'll have a well body.
Yeah.
It's true, you know? And
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
what
Yeah.
do I
I
know?
do think so.
Or you'll defy logic. The amount of times I've defied medical logic because they say, oh, you'll not be walking, or oh, you'll not be dancing, or oh, you'll not be this, you'll not be that. And that's important to take on board so you know what you're dealing with. But actually, to defy it's one of the funnest games ever to defy yourself. You defy logic, you defy your medical notes, you defy yourself and the expectations. And for anybody that's in pain in the chat, the out of body thing can be super helpful to allow you to recognize that there's more than the body, that you can actually overlay pain with a consciousness of smile till you believe it kind of thing. That is a true alchemy to know about, and there's a balance to it. And the out of body experience, I thought it would be a bit much live on chat. It's very noisy, but basically you'll be taking the breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, rounds of 4. And then I want you to then hold your breath for 4. So the foundational 4 breaths. Then again,
Mhm.
another round in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then you'll just start doing the dragon breath for as long and as fast as you can do it. You're just going to get the air to just hit the back of your throat. So where you've been taking deep breaths in and out, all of a sudden I can't do it too long because then I'll feel like I'm out of body. You basically then you filled your body with lots of oxygen, so your body's fine. Don't worry about it. Your body's still circulating that oxygen that you've been breathing in rounds of four. You can take the panting. This is what a woman does when she's going into labor to control the opening and the contraction, to control the being leaving her body in a way that is safe. So your muscles relax when you do this. When you've reached your limit of that, you stop and allow yourself to feel your body raise, your spirit raise from above, from your body. You'll get good at flipping your spirit round and looking deep down into your own eyes. Now, that's a trippy experience, but it's a really good self-exploration. So anybody that's in pain in the chat, a chronic or acute pain, this can be a fantastic, not just coping mechanism, but driver's lesson, like being driver's lesson, where you're really learning how to drive your vehicle that defies logic or defies the pain that your body says you should be in right now. So that's going to help somebody in chat a lot.
I saw it myself, back. What's that, hon?
I was going to say, it also gives your body a chance to reset because if you can get
Yeah,
out of the pain just for a little while, you can help that vibration anchor into the body and help to counterbalance and then hopefully eliminate and help it relieve itself. But it's breaking a pattern too. So
yeah,
pattern breakers can be your best friend, especially if you're in pain.
All the healing crusades that I was a part of, um, we would put people that were up there for healing in a separate room. And, there was a process that we went through in preparing them for, to go out into the healing line. And it's interesting because as I look back now from a different perspective, um, the ones that demonstrated a healing, one that was written before they went into the healing line, and then once they had come through. Um, the difference was between the two, one who doesn't receive and one that did, was that the one that did was anticipating receiving something
yeah,
and
Expecting.
expecting exactly. And, I could have been up there in the name of, a donkey. It would have
Purple
still had the
Panther, yeah.
same. Exactly. It would, it's why is that because they plugged into, um, and this is, from my background, there's this thing called an anointing. Well, an anointing now, I see it today, is that it's charging the very molecules and atoms of the air, the space, and you can
true.
change that. You can do it with love, you can do it with hate, you can see it each manifest itself.
Yeah,
And, so when I find these, and I've sensed that's why I spoke out that, and there's sometimes better anointings or energy in areas of prosperity, of, financial needs. But anyway, a happy spirit makes a well body. And I think there's a proverb that says that, doesn't it? Laughter doeth the heart as a good medicine.
Yeah.
yes, and that's
Yeah,
Mm.
true. That's
I
so
love this
true.
group.
A
I
Mhm.
mean,
grief, a
you can't
grief
do
for
this on it's like people tune into this and going, what the hell are they talking about?
yeah. I hope they didn't tune in while I was doing.
It's like, what forest are they? What are they doing?
What in the meditative circle is going on
It's
here?
like, this is just incredible. Anyway,
Mm.
uh, so anyone else experience anything in that? Anyone at all? By the way, I
Yeah,
still love the crystal. When I see it, by the way, this time I saw it from a perspective because I was standing kind of like in the edge of these giant sequoia trees. And there's different trees as I'm looking out there, but I continue to see this crystal, lifting up out of the earth, and it's no matter where you look at it, you get a perspective looking straight onto it.
Now, the
Yeah,
tree you
yeah.
described immediately after the tree, it's so like that, Trina. It's so
It's like,
like
yeah,
that.
like that.
The the tree that you described, that's the spiral staircase that we went down, under that
Yeah.
tree. As soon as you described it, I saw the hole for us to go into was already present, and you can go there and retrieve whatever it is your spirit needs to leave there for you. If your body can't hear it right now, if you're with all of the stresses that are going on, when you're in trauma or extreme stress being overlaid all over you all of the time, which we all are right now, places like that, take yourself down that spiral staircase. You're just going down your own spine and going into your own cavern, your own womb. When you can't see the wood for the trees in the physical body and with all of the physical distractions, it's good to know that you've got spaces like that where you can say, Spirit, leave me something there then. It sort of gives it takes a little bit of the impetus and pressure off the physical being that we're told we are to get the answers or know the answers or inspire self. And it allows your spirit to do some of that lifting that it wants to do, to leave you something, an encouragement, a symbol, an
I guess I
abundance.
got another symbol and I was wearing it today. And you're talking about going inside the tree. What is on the pine tree? Pine cones. What's inside the pine cone? A symbol of our brain with the pineal gland. And
Yeah,
that's a pine cone. Go inside. In the smallest parts are the greatest mysteries held within.
it's all
It's so
inside.
weird.
All in-
Synchronicities are off the charts.
Yeah. And the more we do this, when people are looking for real action and real change, I'm sorry, in the state that we're in, that there's no going outside and shouting at this type of consciousness that's taking over everything. It's all within. You have to go with it a little bit like coming out of the body, like Trina said, and allowing the spirit, when it's ready to go back in the body, to be absorbed. And it just automatically pushes out, like sage does in a room. It pushes out that negativity, and you can feel that release in the same bones that were giving you hassle just 10 minutes ago. It's the same right now when we're looking for real change here. It is about going within more than ever right now, because it's from that within that your aura magnetizes. It's from, so if you're in distraction and hate and divide and you're projecting that outside of self, there's a balancing and recalibrating needing to go on the inside. Whether, no matter how adept or neophyte you are, that happens. There's a recalibration inside that's needed. You can try and project as much as you like. It's not going to get anywhere as far as when you go within, light your inner sage stick and allow it to emanate from you, not bounce on you, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yes.
All right,
Yes.
I'm back.
I
He
was
was
reading
back in.
chat too. Bonnie, I totally agree. Bonnie was like, I believe the brain is the third eye and the pineal gland is the antenna. Bingo. I believe that too.
Yeah.
Well, I've been floating and I'm back at my beach. I can do that. I
Right
know I was
on.
right back there. I mean, when I was recovering from the meningitis, which was intense, but I learned techniques that I can go to an ocean anytime and I can actually hear I saw you two talking. I mean, it's like it was kind of like there was a divide, but I said, all right, I need to get
I
back
like
into
that.
the conversation.
And
I
that's
do
the
that a lot,
needle.
Wayne. So I
But
love
here's
it.
the weird thing. I was
Me
sitting in a
too.
lotus position, but the two of you were also sitting in a lotus position, but you were having this conversation. And I'm just
So
sitting there and I'm just feeling just the breeze and I'm hearing rolling waves.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you hear that lone
Multifaceted in
seagull.
multiple places at one time, focusing on the
Yeah,
moment of now, which is what you see.
yeah. It was a lovely
And that's
place. And Jenny, I loved hearing, I was hearing your voice, but it was, I was more in
you were
tune
doing
to,
what I was asking. You were doing
it's
what
like,
I was
it's like,
asking.
okay,
Said
that's,
going in. It's like, oh,
it was
that.
fun. I mean, it's
That's
like,
Neil. That's
we
Neil.
were riding, kind of like riding the waves of energy.
Yeah, and hearing
Anyway.
our waves literally from the voice, but that's Neo. That's the playing and that's where you can, the more you go within, you can still go out there and have this physical being and act a
Hmm?
large proportion of anything you've got to do in any given day, which is how you were acting like Neo. Neo doesn't start dodging bullets because all of a sudden he can move faster. It's his spirit is already moving faster because spirit does move faster than physical matter. So it's the spirit that's moving and the body's just responding, to the bullets that are flying. It's not that his body's having to think. That's the message there with Neo in that it's not that he's not embroiled in the game anymore. So his body is just doing what his spirit is already seeing coming because that's in the future prior to when it hits his body. So what you just did there is an example of Neo. Your physical being was
Yeah.
here and acting like you were in charge still, but your spirit was absolutely just allowing that to animate this space while you went into that space. And that's that's a huge message as well for right now. Be Neo.
It was fun.
Yes.
And
It is fun.
Lilith, I agree
there,
totally. She's got some good comments.
say who? What?
Lilith always has.
Lilith,
What? Lilith? Oh,
Lilith,
I love
she's
Lilith's
writing some
comments.
good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's writing some good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
we
Amazing,
have a very
guys.
special place
Amazing
in
stuff.
our spirits for Lilith. She's always welcome here.
Mm-hmm.
What a gal.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Sinatra sings some songs about her. Luck be a lady.
I think she would be the Dark Mother. I mean, I think that's
Oh,
who
I got
that
to tell you
is.
what, I'm reading this book and it impacts my dreams, because um it's it's the questions I've been asking myself in one sense, where are you? What happened to you?
Mhm.
And she's never left.
That's what
But
I heard so loud. I can't
yeah,
believe you just said that. I literally heard, I've never left. And you said,
yeah,
she's never left. I was like,
she never
wow,
left.
that was kind of
Yeah.
good.
She was attacked.
Brutally,
Yeah. Yeah.
put to sleep in the
brutally.
minds of many. That's what she's been, and it is a. She has been
Like
put
right
to
now,
sleep.
I've just got this really buzz on top of the back of my head, and it's amazing, when we started talking about her.
Blue. It's
Yeah,
blue.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
You can see it
yeah.
above your head. It's blue.
So what is that, hon?
I know the very.
And you can see it above your head. You've got like a blue hue going on around you in your auric field at the top. It's very blue. Um,
Wow, I'm seeing that.
Hmm.
iridescent
Hmm.
blue, and that's a Lilith
That's
trait
an
of.
unusual color blue too. It's at least the one I'm seeing. Like,
Yeah, you can't quite capture it. It's not
yeah.
in this
It's like,
frequency because you can't see it
uh,
with two eyes. You can only
no.
see it with third eye. So, but it is
The
powerful to
dropping down of the
she's never
plasma.
gone.
It's from purple to blue. I can
Yeah,
see it too.
yeah. So she's asleep in many people's consciousness, but never gone because you can't have the creative source being gone.
Mm-mm.
And she's reiterated herself in many different ways, but it is the sleeping goddess, and she's waking in many. Um, but it's that shows you how much of this is all an illusion because it's absolutely just magical overlay and emperor's clothes that got us to this space that has made her not be
True.
apparent longer. But actually, if you were to go within all of us and take no note of the outside distractions, she'd be right there to make herself very aware to you immediately. It's just that there's this overlay that has got a stranglehold on the consciousness of so many. But she's there, ready to be stirred and welcome you as you are her, and an iteration of her in a very individual way. Um, but it would just take more of the going within to find her. You're never going to find her in the overlay that has done everything to squeeze her out, even
You're only
making
going to find
men
her in the in between.
in the character
Yeah.
stories, no?
Yeah. Yeah. And, as I interpret life, I get Bentley and we go out usually about 5:30 to go out for a walk, and it's still dark, and the moon, and by the way, the moon took a radical shift in the last couple of days, but um, it's now I find myself immersed in her, that womb. I mean, within the
Mhm.
womb there is all life.
Yeah.
Every potential,
Yeah,
every
yeah.
potential
It's
laying, sleeping,
yeah.
unformed,
See it
but
in
it
the
can be
animals,
projected.
see it in the
Yes.
sky and the trees. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love this group. Lily, thank you so much. I really love all of your YouTube. Well, thank you. Yours are like an essential vitamin. Wow. Aw-
Oh, Ellen.
Thank you, my dear. Um,
Oh,
Gratitude.
yeah, just call me zinc and vitamin C. That's all.
with a Mac on the side.
Uh,
Nice.
well, I'll tell you, this has been absolutely wonderful. I mean, I love it. And I'm still there, by the way. I still, um, someone, and I was seeing these, you could say they were like bright light. No, they were lights that were moving. Um, yeah,
I think they
they
were
dance
fake.
in between the limbs. And
You know where
For
else
me,
my
they
mind
are the
went
same.
when Jenny was talking about the tree and that there's like an opening and people were going in and out of it, or somebody lived in the tree. I literally saw that we were connecting to the trees by eating on them. And apparently Sasquatch can do this, where they can bite into the limb of a tree and connect to the sap. And that opens the portal through the tree for them to bilocate out of the third to the fifth dimension. So I was drawn into that consciousness, and I was like, we're supposed to eat the tree, but not eat it, just put it, taste it in the mouth and connect with the frequency, and we can instantly be transported to the higher dimensions. I wonder if we have the same ability that Sasquatch does to do that and
Yeah,
utilize that. I was
oh,
thinking
but
that.
that. Yes, we do. So we bark, bark. So
I love confirmation, Jenny. Thank you.
we eat
Oh, I
I
bark.
love
love it.
that.
So
I
I
think
can.
there's some truth to that. I mean, I follow the series Expedition Bigfoot, and so they got the blood, and
Mm.
it's humanid, not
Yeah,
Well,
it's
human.
human.
No, it's
It's
not
human.
human. It's humanid.
Yeah, we partner.
HOMMID. Yeah.
We share, but we're not the same anymore, but we
Yeah,
share.
exactly.
Yeah.
We share something, and it's like, oh
Yeah.
boy.
but we do
Yeah.
eat
I
bark
think,
and tea. A
Yes.
lot of the teas that
yeah.
I make, I put the bark in, like pine
Yeah.
inner bark. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
strip the bark like deer do. So deer strip the bark. They don't want the outer bark. That goes to the ground for mulch. It's the inner bark. So I'll strip off the first layer, and then it's that green cellulose layer. That's where all the memories are held, because that's where
Yeah.
the cellulose is. So I can make noodles out of like a white willow, and you can, so you strip it, and a lot of it, like the pine inner bark I put in. I use willow bark. That's very like aspirin. It's where you
Yeah.
derive aspirin from, or blossom. Is a great one, but the inner bark, you're so right, Trina. It does take you to an ancient space when you bite on the bark. I mean, it doesn't look all that pretty when you're
So
taking a.
sorry,
I was gonna
elderberry. He's like
say
bringing it
it does
all
have a
and he's
funky.
sucking on trees today.
You have to use, tannins in wine and what have you, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I use white
yeah,
vinegar to clean it a lot. That's a safe way to clean your
Yeah.
bark, like 1 part white vinegar, 4 parts water. That'll
Oh.
kill any bugs and any parasites,
oh,
but not take away
Hmm.
the.
yeah.
Yeah, we chew on bark. That's
All
from
right. What a great.
Elderberry made me laugh so hard. He says, "We're going to all be out sucking on trees today."
Gina's fault.
That was a good
But you
one,
know what?
Elderberry.
That's so true, elderberry, because the elder tree, the elderberry trees that I grow in my garden, I make straws out of them because it's
Oh,
really easy to knock out the innard of an elderberry, so that it
mm.
makes a perfect, for chimes and things. It makes a perfect straw, the elderberry tree. So we will be all sucking on you, elderberry, in the good
Got
way.
this image of like cow's teats, It's like I'll just
Milk.
stay with hugging with the tree.
You know
I
what?
can do that
I was
just
just
fine.
seeing
I
you,
can
Wayne,
lay my hands on it and and feel the
the longer the longer that you guys were talking about that and Jenny was talking about the tree,
uh,
I was seeing, how farmers put seeds in their mouth before they put them in the soil because there's a DNA exchange.
yeah,
And I was being shown it's a portal. It's literally a gateway
see that.
because when you put that into the element and the element receives your code from you, it's a bridge.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was just seeing the bridge.
Bridging
Uh,
Yeah.
gap.
well,
Okay.
all right,
Yeah.
folks. This has been great. All right, ladies, love y'all. Um, you know, this
Much love.
You
it's
too.
Mm,
never boring. It's never
No.
mm.
lagging. We cover new frontiers. And now I'm hearing Donald Fagen, Night Flight, doom 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 doom. All right,
Wow.
y'all want to say bye?
Love you
Three.
all.
Bye,
Appreciate
everybody.
you all.
All right.
Yes.
We
Much
thank all
love.
of you. We just speak favor again. Everyone in the chat room, I didn't have time to really acknowledge y'all, but thank you. Much love. Thank you for hitting the like button, subscribing. Y'all know what to do. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Trina
do.
and Jenny, I'll see you next week.
Quickly then, quick.
Much
He's just
love.
coming to
Is
say
it Mr.
goodbye.
Theo?
It is, Mr. Theo. You can't get in though because of the. There you go. Squeeze
Oh,
it
well,
quick.
we'll stay live here just because.
Sorry. Sorry. He's
No.
being
Hi
pretty
to
insistent.
Theo.
He comes to
Hey,
Hi,
Theo.
Theo.
What's up? How you doing, buddy?
barge in and not say hi. Hi.
He's like, I
How's
just want to
life?
snuggle with my mom.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
it's
Hmm.
dig that.
about that time. It's getting close to that time. Although when that time comes, there's a second wind all of a sudden. When the
Amazing
bedtime
how that
actually,
works.
yeah, he just gets empty from
Like
nowhere.
that. Well, Theo, it's good to see you, my friend.
Hi, Theo.
Yeah, he's all muddy from outside, aren't you?
That's a good way to do it.
The
Yeah.
best way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hmm.
You know,
Emission saying
Hmm.
hello. Millie
everybody is
saying
saying hi to you, Theo.
Yeah, they are. They're all saying, Hi,
They love
Theo.
you.
he's
They love
looking
you,
at the
dude.
comments afterwards. Okay. All right, I'll let you go. One
All
settle
right.
down.
Everybody,
Love
we
you.
love you. We'll see you next week as well. All right. Bye-bye.